Hi, I'm Marianne. I'm a physiotherapist with Bone Fit certification through the Osteoporosis Society of Canada. This series of videos is to help you live an active life while living with osteoporosis. This video is going to talk to you about strength training. You may have heard that strength training is important for anybody living with osteoporosis. Well, it's important for anybody, but also people living with osteoporosis. And there is absolute truth to that. So every time a muscle pulls on a bone, it gives that bone a little bit of a signal to say, hey, you need to get yourself stronger because I'm pulling on you. So that is the whole purpose behind strength training. We need those muscles pulling on those bones, sending signals to get strong. So we are going to step through an full body strength workout that you can do right at home with very little equipment. All I have with me right now is a chair in case I need to hold on to something for a bit of support. I have a resistance band. Mine is blue. Yours could be any sort of colors of the rainbow. And I have a couple of dumbbells. Now, don't worry if you don't have dumbbells. You can use something that you have around the house. Mine are 5 pounds. But again, use a weight that feels right for you. And we'll talk about that as we get going. What do we do before we start any sort of activity? We warm up. Warming up helps our bodies get ready for increased activity by getting the blood and oxygen circulating, warming up our muscles, and increasing our heart rate. So let's start with some simple shoulder rolls. We're going to lift those shoulders up towards our ears, push them back down and around. We'll do about 5 of these, and then we are going to switch directions. So now we're lifting up, pushing forward and down and around. Again, we'll do about 5. Let's start making these movements a little bigger. So we're going to do big arm circles. We're going to circle those arms backward, making a big movement here. And then we will switch directions, circling forward here, standing nice and tall. Head back and check out the video about posture if you need to for a little refresher. And holding arms out in front, we're going to open them up wide and then give ourselves a big hug. Open it out wide and a big hug. We'll do several of those. So just reminding about posture, we're going to lift those lower ribs away from the hip bones. And one more, give yourself a nice big hug and relaxing down by your side, standing nice and tall, feet apart. We're going to bend over to one side and then over to the other. As we're doing these bends, we are only bending sideways. We are not twisting and turning as we bend sideways. So keep those hips facing forward. Run your hands down the outside of your leg, bending from one side to the other, and then we will stand nice and tall in the middle, lengthening our spine, making that bow tie face forward, not down towards the floor. Turn and look over one shoulder and then around the other way. With all of these movements, you are going to move within a range that feels right and comfortable for you. So if your turn looks very small, that is okay. If it can look a little bigger, that's okay too. We are just moving according to what our bodies are telling us is right. We're going to hold there. All right, next you can use your chair or hands on your sides. I'm going to use my chair here for a little bit of support. And I'm just going to arch my back and then let it sag. And I'm just going to move back and forth very gently. If you're a yoga kind of person, you'll recognize this as a cat-cow kind of maneuver. So again, we're just rounding the spine and then bending. Our spines move forward and backward all throughout the day. It's great to give it a little bit of practice to move through each and every segment. So rounding from the top right down to the bottom, and then arching that back and letting it curve. And then let's stand nice and tall. I'm going to hold my chair again. And now we're going to warm up the hips, holding the chair, make a circle. We're going to make a circle that opens outward. Just lifting the knee, rolling it out to the side, down and around. Again, we'll do about 5, 6 of these. We don't have to be too strict with our counting here. We're just getting things warm. And then the other way, let's open up the other hip, picking that knee up, rolling it out, bringing it down round to the side again. Nicely done. Kitchen counter, a good solid table, and a wall or other things that you can use to help hold on to for a little bit of steadying support. Next, we're moving on to the back of the thigh here. We're going to bring that heel towards the bum. So squeezing with the back of the thigh, bending the knee. Let's get that knee bending and straightening. I'm really going to straighten it out now and then pull it up towards my bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just getting those knees bending and straightening. We are going to be asking them to do some of that later on, so might as well get them ready for it. Excellent. And then finally, we're going to move down to our ankles, lifting up onto the toes and back down. Please do use a chair for support and to help you balance as you need it through any of the activities. All right, here we go. Lifting up again. And there's the last one. And relax down. Now we're going to pick up one foot if that's available to you. If you need to sit down to do this one, please do so. And we are just going to spin one foot in a little bit of a circle and then circle it the other way. Balance really does start at the ankles. That is our first line of defense. The first thing that we do is wobble at the ankles to help us support our balance. So let's get those ankles nice and mobile. All right, we're going to pause there. When we're doing strength training, we like to start with the biggest muscle groups and then work towards some of the smaller ones. So we are going to start with the big muscles in our legs by doing some sit to stands or some squats. So here we go. Just pop my dumbbells down by my side. Okay, so standing up, sitting down, something we do numerous times every day. And it's also a fantastic exercise because it works all the major muscle groups of our legs. We're going to sit nice and tall towards the middle or front of a chair. If you need to, you can put arms on the chair, arms on your legs, or for more difficulty, you can cross your hands on your thighs. We're going to lean forward, keeping our back nice and tall, come all the way up, lower back down, and we'll repeat. So I'm going to show you that from the side. Sitting nice and tall, leaning forward. Notice my back is nice and tall, coming all the way up and all the way down. We're going to touch the chair. So if you need to, you can sit right back down and repeat. Making it a little bit harder, you're just going to kiss that chair. You're going to come up, back down, just a bit of a kiss, and you're going right back up. Keeps tension in the thighs. You're going to feel it a lot more. Increasing it once more. We're not even going to touch. We're just going to lower down until we're just about at the chair. So lots of different ways you can modify this activity to make it right for you. Whichever way feels right, let's go ahead and do 10 of them. All right, nice and tall. I'm going to cross my hands here and come up for 1 and 2. You work at your own pace here. Maybe you're faster than me. Maybe you're a little bit slower. That's okay. We're aiming for 5. And again, if you lose track, that's okay. We are about 2 more here, 9. And there's the last one, 10, standing nice and tall. All right. Hopefully you feel that you are breathing a little heavier by now. We are going to do another exercise for our legs. This time we're targeting our hips. The next 2 are really targeting hips, hip muscles, part of our core stability and part of our really foundational strength. So we're going to stand nice and tall. We're just going to lift a leg backward. Some people get a little bit of back pain when they do this because it creates an arch in their back. If that is happening for you, support yourself on the chair. Look what happened to my spine. It flattened out. And now I can lift my leg. As you lift your leg, I want you to think about squeezing with your buttocks to lift that leg. All right. We can do the same thing on the other side, but let's finish off. I've done about 5 or 6 by now, so let's do 5 more here. I'm going to squeeze for 1, 2. I'm lowering with control. That helps the muscle work on the way up and the way down. I'll do 1 more for good luck. And then switch it over, other side, send that foot back. We're going to keep that spine nice and long. I like to tuck in my belly button towards my spine. It really helps me protect my back. And off I go, lifting. That's 4, squeezing with the buttock for 5, 6, 7, controlling on the way down. That's 8, 2 more here. And there's the last one, and relax there. Now, that's muscles on the back, but we have muscles on the side of the hip that are equally important. We're going to stand nice and tall, and we're going to lift our leg to the side. As we do that, you want to try and stay as upright as possible. You will have a little bit of a lean to the side as you lift your leg, but this is really not going to be helping our hip muscles very much. We need to stay mostly upright and ask those muscles right here, pull that leg to the side. So here we go. That was, about 3, 4, standing nice and tall. 5, you got to be good and strong on that other leg. That's 7. I like to keep a soft bend in that other leg. 9 and 10. That soft bend just feels nice on my knee. Okay, here we go. Other side, standing nice and tall, and lift the side. In the next time, the next step that we do this, I will step you through some different options for making this harder or easier as you need to. So we just have a couple more here, and there is the last one. All right, 3 quick and easy exercises. We didn't use any equipment at all that are going to help strengthen muscles of our legs. Let's work on up the body to muscles of our back. So I'm picking up my dumbbells. Anybody notice how I got down, keeping my back nice and straight? And I'm going to do the same thing coming back up. All right, so for this one, we're going to take 1 dumbbell and we're going to support ourselves on our chair. And with 1 foot in front of the other, I'm going to do that hip hinge again. Pop back to that posture video that talked about how to do a hip hinge. I'm going to hinge at the hip, keeping my back nice and long. My arm holding the dumbbell is down towards the floor. I'm going to raise my elbow up. A lot of people say this feels like they're starting a lawnmower. So from hand down, pull that elbow up towards the ceiling and lower back down with control. We're going to do 10 of those. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Keep that elbow running along the side of your body. It should not be poking out like a chicken wing. You want to run it along the side of your body. We have about 3 more here. Lifting up, and we'll do 1 more. Pulling up and lowering down. Let's do the other side. I'm switching feet, switching hands, leaning forward. Back is staying nice and long. Pulling up for 1 and 2. As I pull up, I'm thinking about bringing my shoulder blade down and in. So my shoulder blade is helping to pull with this motion here. Shoulder blade coming down and in, elbow coming nice and high. And we'll do 3 more. 3, 2, last one, and hold there. All right. Next muscle group, we are going to do our bicep. That's the one at the front of our muscle, kind of the Popeye muscle, standing nice and tall. We can work both at the same time here. We're simply going to raise those dumbbells towards our arms and back down. If you don't have dumbbells, grab a water bottle, fill it up. Maybe even a soup can or 2 will do the trick. Okay, here we go. Lifting towards the shoulders and controlling on the way down. I'm really working to keep my shoulders away from my ears as I do this. Focusing on the muscle at the front of the arm. Bring that hand towards the shoulder. And last one, you'll notice that I do a little bit of a turn so that my palm faces my shoulder at the top, and then palm faces in. Okay, last one. We are going to work muscles at the back of the arm. We're going to get back to that same position we used for that rowing motion. One foot in front, hand hanging down, supporting yourself on the chair, back nice and tall. I'm going to raise my elbow and I'm going to keep it there. Now I'm just going to swing my hand. So the movement here comes all from the elbow. That's the only thing that's moving here. So to start, we're going to raise the elbow. We're going to hold it there. Now I'm going to straighten that elbow out to kick my hand back. Bend the elbow, bring that hand forward. Let's go ahead and do several of these, squeezing with the muscle at the back of the arm this time. Nicely done. That elbow really is the hinge through this. We want to keep that shoulder. I just caught my shoulder trying to inch towards my ear. I'm going to lower it back down. And there we go. Of course, we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Better face the other way. If you don't have a chair handy, you can always rest on your own thigh. Bring that belly button towards your spine, flatten your back, raise the elbow, and kick back. That's 3. We're doing 10 of these. That's 5, 6. Keep that elbow nice and high, squeezing with the muscle at the back of the arm. And there we go. All right, so we have gone through one set of 3 exercises for our lower body, 3 for the upper body. We're going to jump right back, do that all again. I'm going to show you some different options as we go along. So we started with those sit to stands. As I mentioned, you can do it without even touching the chair, makes it a little bit harder, or you can do it holding your dumbbells, which I'm going to do this time. So here we go. We're going to go up for 1 and 2. Excellent. 3. I'm going to just quickly turn to the side here so that you can see that as I go up and down, my knees stay behind my toes. You should be able to see your toes the whole way through. If you can't, you need to press into your heels a little bit more as you do this. And we'll do 1 more. Great job. Okay, then we lifted to the side. So if you did that first set of 10 pretty comfortably, maybe you need to make it a little bit more challenging, and you can do that with your resistance band. Simplest way to do that, make a loop, 1 foot through the loop, other foot standing on the free end, and from here, I can lift to the side or to the back. So I'm going to start with the back because that's what we did last time. So here we go. Just lifting back. 1, 2, excellent. 3, squeezing with the muscles back here. 4, 5, back is nice and tall. Lift that leg. And of course, the other option is to repeat it exactly as you did it the last time. That is perfectly fine. And we are going to do the same thing on the other side. And standing on the other side, lifting the other side. 4, 10, 9, 8, 7. Excellent. Now, when you're using the bands, important to really control on the way back because the band wants to spring you back. You're not going to do that. You're going to make that muscle work on the way there and on the way back by controlling everything. We'll do 2 more here. 9, and the last one, that is 10. All right, switching it up, we're going to lift to the side. So again, I can just place my foot in the band, standing nice and tall, holding the chair, hands on the hips, wherever you like. I'm going to lift to the side. That's it. Good stuff. Pulling with those muscles on the side of the hip. I can start to feel them. Hope you can too. Nice and strong on the leg that you're standing on. Great job. And let's switch that up. Other foot goes in the loop. Well, we stand on it, and now we're lifting to the side. Give myself a little bit of space there. Keeping those hips facing forward helps you concentrate. Muscles on the side there, that's 6. 7, few more, hang in there. 8, 9, lifting for 10, and relax down. One thing about bands, making it harder, make the band shorter, make it easier, give yourself more slack. Okay, so there we go. We went through the 3 lower body exercises. We're heading back to the top and back to those bicep curls. I'm just going to use my dumbbells again, but I will show, if you don't have dumbbells, how to do those with a band. Simply going to stand on it, and I can do one hand at a time, or if your band is long enough, you can stand on it and do both. So let's do that. Standing nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears, hands towards the shoulders. Excellent. Coming up to 5, 6. We're going to breathe as we make that effort. That's it. So when we are strength training, we want to breathe out every time we are at the really hard part of the exercise. I often suggest people count out loud, quietly to yourself, but every time you count out loud, let's say 9 and 10, it forces you to exhale as you're exerting your muscles through the movement. Okay, if we wanted to use a band to do the back row, we can do that as well. We're simply going to step on it, one foot ahead of the other, using our chair for some support, gripping the band. You can also create a loop, put your hand through it if you have difficulty grasping. So, or you can just simply wrap it around your hand like I have done. And here we go, pulling up for 1 and 2. I'm going to shorten up here. And in fact, I'm going to double up. These muscles in the back are stronger and they're bigger, so I'm feeling like I can pull a little harder here. There we go. Now I'm feeling that. Excellent. Tucking that belly button in, spine is long, just like you're pulling on a lawnmower starter. That's it. Let's do 3 more. 3 and 2, controlling on the way down. Last one. All right, switching over. One foot in front of the other. Here we go. Elbow is traveling along the side of the body. Hips stay pointing forward. They're not turning here. Hips are pointing forward. Excellent. We've got about 4 more to do here. And pulling for 3 and 2 and 1, and relax there. All right, and the last one. So there's a few different ways to work triceps with a band, with dumbbells like we just saw earlier. With the band, you can hold it at one shoulder and then use the opposite hand to pull down. That is one way to do it. You can also do it similar to how we just did the back row, from here and straighten out. I'm going to do the one standing, so I'm just simply going to hold it on my left shoulder. This is my anchor, not moving, grasping or wrapping with my right hand, and then straighten out the right elbow, just like that. And I can feel that in the back of my arm. So I'm going to stand nice and tall and push down for 6, 7, 8, 9, and there is 10. Let's switch it up. So now I'm going to anchor at my right, and my left hand will be the movement hand. Here we go, pushing down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good job. Keeping those shoulders down. Squeezing the back of the arm. Last one, and relax there. Okay, if you needed to, if you wanted to, go ahead, repeat those for a third set. Right now, I am going to step us through a cool down. Remember, we warmed up to start. Well, we are going to cool down to finish. So we can start in standing. We worked muscles of our thighs with those standing up and sitting down. So now we're going to give those a bit of a stretch, grasping the ankle. Sometimes shoes have a handy loop at the back. Sometimes it's a pant leg. Sometimes you can use your band as well. However you get it there, we're going to bring the ankle or the foot towards the bottom. All right, as you do that, notice that my knee wants to poke forward. Wants to take, body is so smart. It wants to take the stretch away, so it bends forward. We want to actually, we need that stretch. So we're going to push that knee backward. We're going to try and keep our knees beside each other, bringing heel towards bottom, standing nice and tall. If any stretch, you want to hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds, 30 if you're really keen. And then we're going to relax and do the same thing on the other side, standing nice and tall, heel towards bottom. Again, if you can, grab hold of the ankle. Want to keep those knees beside each other, aiming for a stretch, front of the thigh, maybe into the front of the hip a little bit as well. Holding for about 15, 20 seconds. And relaxing there. Another one we can do standing up is one foot in front of the other. This one's going to get stretch the back of the calf. So nice long step here. And then we're going to lean forward. Sometimes people push against the wall as well. The key is to keep that back heel pressed down so that we get a stretch through that calf. And again, we're going to hold there for a little bit and lean right onto your chair, whatever feels comfortable. Again, you can also push against a wall. And then we are going to straighten up and switch. Bending the front knee, keeping that back heel glued down to the floor as best as possible. So if things are particularly tight back there, maybe you don't get far with bending that front knee, that is okay. With stretching, you want to just find that place where you feel a pulling, a stretching sensation. Shouldn't cause sharp pain, and you want to be able to hold it there for, again, 15 to 20 seconds. All right. We'll have a seat, crossing one ankle up onto the opposite hip. Now, if this is a difficult position for you to get into, straighten out the one leg. So I can do this with one leg out a little straighter, and there we go. All right. Or if you can, keep that other leg bent, sit nice and tall, get that ankle right on there. We're looking for a stretch into the hip, and we're simply going to sit tall. Sometimes that's enough to feel that stretch into that hip. If not, gently lean forward a little bit, and that will increase the stretch into that hip. Again, you can do this with your leg out a little straighter as well. And of course, we will switch. Nice and tall, lifting those lower ribs away from the pelvis, leaning forward if you need to feel that stretch. Let that knee just kind of fall down with gravity. Excellent work. Breathing here, letting our breathing return to more of a resting state. So letting that breathing slow back down. And switching here. We're going to send one leg out straight. You really do need to be towards the front edge of your chair for this one. One leg out straight, heel on the floor, toes pointing up, other leg is bent. Supporting yourself on your thighs or reaching forward towards your toes, whichever feels comfortable. We're going to keep our backs tall and hinge from the hips, which are down here. This is your waist. We're hinging from the hips. And we're coming forward so that we feel a pull in the back of the leg. And that is where we are going to hold it. And we're going to breathe here. Let's take a deep breath in Exhaling, can you go a little farther into that stretch? And we will switch, sending the other leg out straight, heel on the floor, toes pointing up, hinging from the hips. Spine stays tall, coming forward. Excellent work. Very normal to feel that one leg is maybe a little stiffer or the muscles are a little tighter than the other side. That's just our bodies being our bodies. And maybe when you feel that, you can take an extra few minutes just to hang out on that one side. And then we're going to come back up and relax there. All right, we can't ignore our upper body. It did work today too. So we will hop on up. I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back and lift my hands away, opening up the chest. If your hands can't get back clasped together, raising them back. We'll do it. We want to open up the front here. Again, we spend so much time rounded over activities. It is great to give everything a stretch. Options for doing this one are to put your hand up on the wall. So you can see I've got my hand or my elbow about the height of my shoulder. I can lower that down if I have shoulder problems. And then I'm just going to ease forward, maybe look into the room. Again, just opening up that shoulder. That's a different variation of that one for you. Okay, but we also pull backwards, right? So we are going to take one arm, reach it across, just give it a little bit of help. I'm just gently guiding that elbow across my body, like you were giving yourself a pat in the back. You can go ahead and do that. Nice job getting active today, building muscles and bones. And then let's switch that, shake it out. Push the hand across to the opposite shoulder, hand to the elbow. Just draw that elbow across your body. Lower that shoulder a little bit. Don't need it quite up into the ears. And relax there. Excellent. Let's finish off with a couple of deep breaths here. So we're going to raise our hands overhead as we breathe in. Exhaling, lower hands down. We'll do that once more. Deep breath in, air right to the bottom of the lungs, and breathing out. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the other ones for ways to be active while living with osteoporosis.